Peace and blessings, and welcome to this special edition of the Mic Council on Heritage Hip Hop. For those of you who don't know, the Mic Council is our show where we talk about issues that affect the hip hop culture that are not music related. This is our view. This is our red table talk. This is our chance to show the world we are more than music, that we are scholars, mothers, as we have on today, and parents and teachers of the culture as well. Before we get into this video and this interview, I would like to say subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop, hit the subscribe button, also click the like button. Follow us on all social media, and make sure if you're following us on Spotify and iTunes, you give us a 5-star rating, because this is good material that will stand the test of time. Love never dies, right? And with that being said, I want my guest to introduce herself, if you don't mind.
Hi, my name is Irisa. I am an autism warrior mom. That's what I call myself. I have a son with autism, and he's 16, and we are sweet 16 years in. That's what I call it. Sweet 16 years in, and we from Jersey, and I'm taking it day by day, step by step, and just living the autism life. That's what I call it. We on the autism life. Is up and down, but I'm here and I'm blessed. And thank you for having me, and just want to share my life with the world. I don't have anything to hide. It's all positive. It's some negative too, but it's all positive.
Well, we're going to talk about that, because autism is not new, but it's something that's new to people's understanding, because people really don't know what it is. From your understanding of autism, not what you go through, but what people may have told you or you found out, what do you define autism as?
Well, autism to me, it's like it's invisible almost. Because sometimes you aren't able to detect it right away. You see people going to work, coming from work, going to school, coming from school. You see people at the playground, and you can pass someone with autism and not even know it. Some people think it's like they can tell, oh, he has autism, she has autism, like it's like this handicap, but it's not. It's something more internal. They look like me, they look like you. They just people with a different way of seeing things. It doesn't show on their face, so I see it as something that's invisible to a lot of people because you cannot detect it. But when you see someone acting out of character, you might say, why is that person acting that way, without knowing that that person is autistic, if you will. So we like to, spread awareness and show people certain signs of it. If you see someone acting this way, he may or may not be autistic, but just be aware that people have different abilities and people respond differently to outside stimuli, or, if they're at your home acting a certain way, maybe that person may be autistic and you didn't know at first, but he or she could be autistic because they are sensitive to certain things. I'm sensitive to certain things, but I'm not autistic. But there's just certain signs that you can see. But you have to be aware of it, because, even if an autistic person is driving, and they can drive, and they get pulled over by a cop might not know that this person is autistic. He's telling him to put his hands up, and he might not put his hands up the right way because he doesn't understand commands. Right. That cop may need to know that this person has a different ability and be more accepting of it, so we just need to be aware of signs, and that this person might be a little different from me. Yeah. And he's not less than I am, but he might be a little different, and just be aware that this person might be on the spectrum. So basically, autism to me is just the invisible, if you will. I won't say disease, it's not a disease, but it's just an invisible type of thing that you have to just be aware of, because there's different people, and they got, we all are different. They all are different, just like me and you are different, and they all are different. They are different levels on a spectrum and stuff like that. So you just have to be aware of different symptoms and just be understanding of people in general, because someone could be having a bad day and not be autistic. And, you should be aware and just like treat people with kindness, period.
True indeed. The thing about autism is that, like you said, autism is not something that you see. It is something that you experience.
Yeah.
It's not something that you could say, okay, that's an autism,
Yeah.
And we've had movies throughout about history that talked about autism. And the most famous autistic movie was Rain Man.
Yeah, and we didn't know that he was, right? We just watched him and that he's different from us, and that's the only description that we had. But everyone is different though. Like you see Rain Man, that's his way. And you see another person, they different from the Rain Man, character.
And that's the thing that intrigues me, is that autism is a spectrum. For anybody who doesn't understand, a spectrum is kind of like a rainbow or umbrella, that it can be called one thing, but it has different characteristics of it that fall under the name rainbow. Like when you look at a rainbow, all you know is, what is it? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet.
Yeah.
But then when does turquoise fall in? And it's part of the rainbow. And those are the blends. And that's what autism is. Autism is something that's considered neurological because of the brain, right?
Yes.
And depending on how the person's brain chemistry is received or fires off, it will affect them in ways that, for many, it's social awkwardness.
Yeah, social.
For some, it's for social awkwardness is the main one that they focus on first. That's what they write about mostly in the DSM. I think it's up to 11 now. I could be wrong, but they focus on the social awkwardness. A lot of them from studies are like, they are geniuses. They just don't know how to interact with people.
Yeah, because sometimes people say it's the genius gene, because it's like, you could have been a genius, but then you are over here. So they like have some genius characteristics in them. And they say like the parents sometimes, like parents of autistic kids are like that too. Like they say they are usually like real smart. And so when you have a kid, like they getting all your positive and your good genes, and they get so much of your good genes that they are like geniuses. So they say that, they got the genius gene. People say that.
I want to introduce on the call right now entertainer who uses her voice not only to entertain, but to speak to the heart and soul of the listener. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Nikki Paige, Inner Rage, and thank you for having me. This is an honor to be here.
Oh, it's an honor to have you, believe me. Right now, we're talking about autism in ways that people can get used to it before we get into the conversation. Because whenever you have a conversation and you cannot pull the listener in, I think you don't fully engage them, and I'm speaking from my preschool teacher role right now, and we have a mom on the line. And how has autism as an artist affected you?
Honestly, I've known a couple of people with autism, and I've experienced what that feels like. When I actually met Nikki, who is the mother we're talking to, and she came to me and said that she wanted to write a song about that, and I thought that was going to be a challenging record. I was like, how am I gonna put that into a song? But it was just something that I was like, well, I've done similar situations like this before, so why not take a try? So I sat down with a very talented producer, and we went through different chords and melodies and stuff, and we were able to basically put into music like some emotions after I interviewed Nikki, for this, I was trying to put down like what she goes through in her everyday life, you know what I mean? That it hasn't really been easy for her. So and I was always told that I was a little bit different myself. My brother was too. And I just was more focused on music. I didn't know anything other than music. So I ended up falling in love with the project and even kind of finding myself a little bit while writing it. And I'm really proud of it, actually. I'm proud to just help raise awareness for this whole entire community, because it really is, you know what I mean? Sometimes they feel very alone, and I just want them to know that they're not. So
excellent, because that's the focus of this interview, is to celebrate our children and our parents. And I'm not going to say who deal with autism, who experience the journey of autism, because I always say moms are the most there's nothing you can pay a mom to say this is what you deserve. You know what I'm saying? From the emotional awareness of being pregnant to even carrying, having a baby, and then nurturing them into their growth. You are by far the first superhero that men have ever seen. So I salute you as a mom first. And and listening to the song, there's one part of the song that really, I think, influenced this interview more than this interview get credit for, and that was the line about the butterfly. Now, in Christianity, butterflies are a symbol of resurrection and hope. Right. And through your music, hope is being given when you're talking to the soul and the spirit of the person who needs the upliftment or who's enjoying the melody. So, Mom, I want to ask you this. Your son is 16, you said. You're going through 16 years. When did you first become aware that there was something that was different about your child and his development?
Around 18 months, when he was 18 months. But prior to that, he walked at 10 months. Mm-hmm. He was talking, watching Blue's Clues, dancing and singing Blue's Clues. And one day I came home and my husband was like, Darius, I was calling him all day and he wasn't responding to his name. And I was like, what? Like, when I left, he was responding. Like, what did you do to him? We watched him and it's like he lost his name. Mm. Like, where's your name? And so we called the doctor, and the doctor was like, maybe, at that time, that's 16 years ago. And, that's not that long ago, but they were still learning themselves. Right. So he was like, maybe, he just don't want to listen, maybe get his hearing checked. So we had his hearing checked and everything like that. And, he passed all that, but something was still different. So I took it upon myself and was like, I have to do some research. I was online doing some research because the doctor was just like, just wait it out. He's getting older. Maybe he doesn't want to listen. He doesn't want to respond. His hearing is good. So just wait it out. But, as a parent, I saw him walking and I saw him singing and dancing and being the superstar at his little gym class. I was like, this is not the same little boy. Like, something happened one night and I call autism the thief in the night. Mm-hmm. Because I feel as though that it came in and we didn't notice and it stole, our little champion baseball player that we thought we were going to have, or the star of the school play that we thought we were going to have. So it came in and snuck in and changed everything for us, and we didn't even realize it. And some say that, maybe he was born with it, but, everything went good at birth and everything was good up to those 18 months. And I don't know what happened.
And that's not even 2 years old.
Yeah, not two, under 2 and 18 months. And I'm not one of these people that are out there into conspiracy theories or like into that. I'm not, because you know why I'm not into. I'm a mother and I gotta, stay focused and I deal with life day by day and what's in front of me, because what happened in the past, I have no control over, and I don't know what caused it. So I don't go around talking about the vaccines, but at 18 months, they get a lot of shots at 18 months. Yeah. It's like a dozen, like in one day, they get a lot. So it changed around then. And, and I'm not going to say that was the cause of it, but he did change in that period of time when they are giving the bulk of those shots. Yeah. It's just like a bottle of a booster of shots, like 15 at the same time. And I'm exaggerating, but it's a lot at the same time. And, maybe their bodies aren't able to handle that at that age. And maybe it needs to be spread out, but I'm not I'm not out here in, promoting conspiracies, but I don't know. But this is where I am, and it started around 18 months. So, I called the Children's Specialized Hospital to have them tested. And it's, it doesn't matter if you're a millionaire, they do it for free in New Jersey. I cannot speak for other states, but they come in and they test him, and, they notice that, he has some delays. He was speech delayed. He needed some OT. He didn't need PT. He was good with, in that department, but he needed some time to get back to where he was. Okay, let me ask Ms. Paige a question.
Sure.
As a person who does music, right? The soul is the key to unlocking the nature of joy when it comes to music, right? And I've noticed that from my experience that when the love of music is not felt, it's hard to translate your emotions to people who depend on rhythm. When you wrote this song, when you were going to the heart of the matter, what was the most important key element of the song that you wanted somebody to understand?
Well, when you write a song, there's like 5 main elements that I try to stick to in like a certain rule, because like the rhythm is really important to be unique. There's only 12 notes, there's only 24 tonalities. And so you got to have a unique rhythm. You have to have like a cool story or something, like a concept and a brand or whatever for that, but when this was brought to me, I figured I want to have my soul be singing like the best notes and most unique things, but simple enough for an autistic child to listen to. So that was probably the hardest challenge, was trying to figure out what the chords would be where it's still beautiful and uplifting, where it's not too sad, still make sure it's encouraging, has a very, almost a spiritual help behind it, you know what I mean, like really just passionate. So that's what I locked in and stayed into that zone, and we came up with what you have here today.
Now that's where I think we come together when it comes to this song, is the heart. Because with the autistic child, you don't know what's in their heart because it's hard to read their emotions. But as a creator of music and as a mother, your heart is what leads you into doing what it is that you do. In meeting each other, how did your hearts connect? How did it inspire you two to be a better mom and to make a better song, to talk about autism itself?
Are you talking to me or to Nikki?
Both.
Oh,
okay.
Well, the part of the song that, I don't know how she came up with it, but the part of the song where she said, "You got me and I got you," that's the part that had tears running from my eyes, Nikki. I heard that. It was just like, I got you, you got me, and that's how I feel. Like,
right. Well,
what you can do, huh?
I said, and I mean that, I really do. I really was touched by your story. And I want you to know that I got you too, just like you got Darius. Like, I'm here for you and I really want to help. So, thank you for bringing this to me.
And it's good to have people on your team, because it's hard. It's really hard. Like, we hide it, because you don't want people to know that you can't handle it. But sometimes I can't handle it.
Yeah.
And, but I go to bed at night and I realize that, tomorrow's a new day. I have to get past that hurdle.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that, like you basically, whenever you can get a chance to sleep, it's like whatever time, hour, that's when you're sleeping now.
I take a 4-minute nap.
Yeah. And that's hard.
A 4-minute nap. And you know what? And I'm not mad at it either, because I work around his schedule. I don't even care, because I think I'm an expert at it now, because I take a nap right now. Right while y'all talking to me, I take a nap.
Yeah, well, you've adjusted to it, you've definitely
I'm adjusted. And you know what? He has taught me how to see things in a different light. And
like how? Just to talk on that.
I appreciate life better, because you know how they say stop and smell the flowers and stuff? We actually stop and smell the flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And he can smell things. So like he can smell it, like if we are in a room together, he can probably smell something before any of us. They sensitive to certain things.
Wow.
And now I think I have that superpower too. I have my hearing has been adjusted. My nose and my senses are heightened.
Mm-hmm.
I have heightened senses. Like I can hear him from around the corner. Like if I'm like, Darius is coming, and he 10 minutes away, and I can hear him.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And I can hear him because he hums, and it bothers people when he hums, and I'm used to it. It's not like it's a part of us. He hums, and now I can watch TV while he's humming, and people sitting here like, you hear him? Yeah, but I'm so used to it. I adapted to his world.
I want to stop you there, because that's where my experience comes in, is that I've had parents who had children who had autism in my classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually had a parent, I'm not going to put their actual, but let's just say this parent did not like their child. You know what I'm saying? And I think what it was, because I want to ask you this question. I don't think the parent didn't like their child because they did not like their child. I think the parent disliked their child because they thought something was wrong with them and they hurt their child. That's a mental burden that a lot of parents, like with parents, you go like, why is my child like this? Or why did this happen to him or her? Or why is my child the one who got picked like this? Did you ever have that type of mental breakdown where you had to really pull yourself together through something like that and then show your child their importance, and that helps you find your importance as well?
Well, in the beginning, I thought that, I always thought I was this good person, good to people. And I look at other parents that I would say that I deem them as bad parents, and they have good kids, if you will. And I'm like, I'm a good person, and I do good things. And, I did ask God, like, why though?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always been on the straight and narrow. I always did good. I did good in school. I helped my parents. I don't curse. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't steal. I always led a positive life. And I was like, why me? Why us? And, we good people. And you do question God, and you do question that. But then as time went on, and I'm taking care of him, and I'm seeing positive things in him, and I'm learning from him, I say to myself, why not? God chose me.
Okay.
He chose me to do this, and I'm happy that he chose me, because I'm the one that can do it.
Right.
No one else can.
Right.
No one else can fill my shoes. He chose me for a purpose. This is my purpose. He chose me because when he sent this kid down, he knew I was the perfect one for this kid.
That's deep, because in the Bible, there was a story of a man who was considered crippled. And the apostles said to Christ, like, I wonder what his parents did to curse him to be like this. And Christ said he did what you think his parents was cursed. he was made like this for this reason right here. And then his life
Mm-hmm.
was a healing, because we still talk about that man today. To know that there's hope and things out there. And that's the thing about love that I think people don't understand. And I always say love is overrated, because people don't really truly understand love, because a lot of people are more selfish than selfless.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, that's why I give moms so much credit, because your heart for love is much different than anybody else's. Nikki Paige, I want to bring that to you, because the heart of a creator is similar to a heart of a mom's, because everything that comes from your soul or your spirit, that's like your child, and you want to have that creation take flight and have a purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're making a song with the purpose of a lifestyle, or the purpose of understanding of a lifestyle, what was the one part of the lifestyle that you learned about that truly opened you up, like, wow, that is something I never even considered, even when thinking about yourself?
Well, I've been making music my whole life, really, and this was probably the first song that I did that was not necessarily to try to pursue my career. This is like the first song. I mean, I did a song before for like a similar like movement thing called Colorblind, and that really inspired it. And it did well for it, but at the same time, I never put it out like that. You know what I mean? I just played it. But this time I'm like, well, you know what? If people want to feel happy, you know, people don't always want to just like watch the same music videos and hear the same songs. They want to feel that there's nobody really doing that. And I feel like it's kind of sad, especially when I started writing this. I realized, you know, I believe in God myself, and God, music was made to worship God. And I sometimes throughout writing this song, I was like, maybe this is why he never wanted me to do the other songs that I was trying to pursue. He wanted me to do something good and give back to the world and introduce the world to like a hope. And so that became my purpose, like for the whole month, maybe 2 months, still working on it, and finally got it to, you know, putting in like hours and hours, months of effort to make this do, you know, the best I possibly can. So luckily I had a very understanding and willing producer that helped me achieve what I was hearing in my head and feeling in my soul, and trying to communicate what she was talking about and understand her story as well. And I became, you know, I fell in love with it. So
Shout out to the producer. We love you too. Salute.
Timothy Bloom, he's amazing, multi-Grammy award winning producer.
I like Grammys. Can I get one? Like, I want a Grammy.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, he's too.
Well, you
So
can
he
do
was
a
a
whole
perfect
show
person
about
to
the
choose for this.
Grammys now. So many people are talking about the Grammys.
Yeah, but
it just happened.
I ain't gonna do that. I want to say this though, because with Nikki, what you said was very important about putting something out. Because when you put something out, you market it, you promote it. But the thing about putting something out is you have to know it. You have to really know it to be able to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And with autism, right? Because we're not going to keep on the negative, like, oh God, is autism, is this. There are great things that come out of autism if you learn your child.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want to focus on, because some of the students I had that were autistic, right? Maybe they couldn't look you in your eye when you talk to them. Maybe they were afraid, you know, because a lot of children, not all, but a lot of children with autism, they shy away, you know?
Right.
And I had one student whose favorite toy in my class was the ice cream cone, you know? And this is how I got to gauge his social emotional development. He would say, hey, Mr. Ice Cream, we going to play, Mr. Ice Cream. But when you talk to him, he does this. He couldn't talk to you, but he could identify something with that thing. And when he did that, that's when his genius came out. That's when I saw he likes to take things apart and put them back together. Or he likes role play, because now that everything he's not responding the way you want, or interacting the way you want, but he's able to make all the roles of everybody around him and put a scenario together. See, in preschool, in our curriculum, that's social emotional development and cognitive development. While with autistic children, they may not have the language. Some of them can't say I'm hungry or I have to go to the bathroom. Sometimes they cry because they don't know how to express themselves, or they think you won't know. Hey, Mom, I want to ask you this. we know your son has been diagnosed with autism, but tell me some of the great things he's done that made you just like beam with joy and pride to know my son did that. You know, it puts you on that high note.
Well, there was this time. You remember Hurricane Sandy?
Yeah, yeah.
But they said it was actually a superstorm because it wasn't that big as a hurricane, but it did some damage. Mm-hmm. And you know, we didn't have power for like 2 weeks, and we were sitting in. I had to go to the car to charge things, and we were sitting in the car, and he was in the back seat. So I threw him in the back seat, and I'm in the front. Because I don't want him in the front trying to drive. Like, you stay back here. But he had to be about 8 years old then. That was 2012, I think. And he wanted to get my attention. And he wasn't verbal. He would hum all the time. So he wasn't verbal at that time. And he wanted my attention. And I always thought this, and I wrote something about this, that I didn't think he knew who I was. And you might think it's like far-fetched. And I always thought, like, would he notice me outside? Would he notice me in the crowd? I know that, he's around me all day, but I always feared that he didn't know who I was. Like, I'm just like this lady that he sees. He wasn't talking. I fed him, I did this, I did that, but who am I? And I didn't know. I struggled with that because I didn't know who I was. I knew who I was, but I'm like, he doesn't know me. So he's in the back seat and he's trying to get my attention, and I'm in the front seat trying to touch the laptop and everything. So he said, "Mommy." Because he couldn't get my attention. He didn't have anything to throw at me. He didn't know what to do, so he had to talk. Mm-hmm. He had to talk, so he was like, "Mommy," and I looked like, oh my gosh, he knows who I am. And you probably thinking, of course he did, but how do you know what they know? He knew I was taking care of him, but did he know I was mommy? And Darius, he does some great things though. Like, he's trained.
Remember when I called you one night and he was rapping and singing, like he was holding a beat in the rhythm.
Yeah,
but
he's good with music, and he records. He knows how to use a remote. You can bring a brand new remote that just came out. You can bring a laptop with the newest displays, newest buttons, and he will figure it out in 5 minutes. He can learn long passwords. So like, if you put in your password in front of him, he can tell where your fingers are going without looking. And then he will put your password in that phone. He was like, wait a minute. And his teachers were surprised one day. They was like, Darius, if you don't do this, you're not going to get the iPad. We're not going to put the password in. And so he was like, oh, well, I'm going to do it anyway. So he did it. And they was like, we're not putting the password in, Darius. And he had it. So they're thinking, well, you sit here with the iPad, but we're not giving you the password. He put the password in. They almost had a heart attack.
Crazy.
How did he know? Because they watch people. They watch you. They know how you smell. They know the color of your hair. If you come there looking different, if you use a new shampoo, he knows.
Yeah, they look at you like you're a new entity in their world.
And, Darius is good with music. He can play the piano, like he does his fingers like this, like someone taught him professionally. He's like, look at Darius. He holds his fingers because he was watching the music teacher at school. They said he would never sing. They didn't know he could sing at school because he was too busy watching the teacher. And he would come home and hold his fingers and play what she played because he was just studying her. He was like, I'm like, Darius knows how to play songs. He knows how to sing, but he wouldn't do it at school because he's observing everything. So when it comes to music, he loves music. He makes his own videos. He makes his own beats up, and music is his life.
That's not hard to understand, because music is the first thing that we're born into when we come into, I say, existence. I mean, when you were first being formed, you had water around you and you follow the
Yeah.
current. You know, a current is also a form of electricity. That's a music term as well. Biological, physical, you know what I'm saying? And your womb was the most perfect waterbed he'll ever have. You know what I'm saying? So when you laid down and you hummed or you sung or you spoke, those vibrations went through his body, just like all of us. That's why, Miss Paige, what you do is so miraculous to me. I love women who can sing and who can rhyme and do all that stuff, because the thing about y'all is y'all are so confident, and the world beats women down and tries to make you so unconfident. But when you sing and you find your expression, the power of your confidence makes you second to none. And that's what makes me find appreciation for what you do. Let me ask you this, Ms. Paige. Let me ask you this. How has music made you confident to the point where you can express any message or even yourself any way, in any form that you so desire?
I think I started off just loving it at a very young age, and I focused on getting as close to perfect pitch as I could, as I could possible, and learning different sounds and stuff. And I had a lot of people that were supporting me because I just wouldn't stop singing, you know. So they were like, "Oh, you must be good at it." And the only thing, I think that anyone really can sing. It's just a matter of how much practice you put into it, effort you put into it, and how much confidence you have with it. So it is something that you need a lot of confidence to do. It's like the only, I want to say, one of the only like businesses that you can get away with screaming and singing in someone's face, you know, and performing loudly and just saying whatever you want to, and people will, you know, they'll applaud you. There's an audience for it. So it's a very good way to vent. It's a very good way to express yourself. I've always loved that part of it. And it's, again, it's kind of spiritual. I watched this cartoon. I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm forgetting what it's called, but it was about this character, and he turned into a ghost, and he loved playing music. And Soul. It was called Soul, but it was like I was watching and I was just sitting there bawling my eyes out, like, I feel you. like it really does take you to another place when you're performing. You really snap into a different, like, I don't want to say dimension, but it's a mentality or something. You really aren't paying attention to anything other than your soul and feeling like what it, like, just to get to that next note, you're really being passionate behind it. I think that's why Darius really takes to music too, because he really feels like exactly, you know, what that is. And that's not anything that you really can describe. You just got to go and do it. So I feel you, Darius. Humming it. You're humming it.
Yeah, he hums everything. And I spoke to a parent before, and her kid did the same thing. He would hum, and there was a certain part of a DVD that he would play over and over, a certain part, and the mother didn't like it. And she forced the kid to watch the whole entire DVD. And I have a problem with that, because, you know, when they do certain therapy, like ABA therapy and stuff, they want them to follow through. They want them to do a start to finish. But I don't make Darius watch an entire DVD. If he wants to watch a small part with the part that he likes, I'll let him play it over 1 billion times. I don't care. But a lot of parents and a lot of therapists now, they want them to follow through. They want them
to... Wait. Let me ask you a question. You said ABA therapy?
Yeah.
Break that down for the people who's watching this so they have an understanding of what ABA therapy is.
Well, I'm not like an expert in ABA, but I think it's like a applied behavioral something like that. But it's a type of therapy that when, you know, they do certain things that try to get the kids to be more like neurotypical kids and neurotypical people. So I can't like explain it too well, but it's just a type of therapy where they come in and train the kids to be like the rest of, like everybody else. So whatever is different about them, they want to change it to be like the rest of us.
Okay.
And so, you know, I'm not an expert on ABA, but a lot of schools and a lot of therapy, they do the ABA. It's like they work on it's a behavior. So if your kid has a certain behavior that you don't like, they work on that behavior. And some behaviors to me are okay. You know, like playing a DVD over and over and over and over a billion times. I'm okay with it, but they, you know, some parents and therapists say, you know, that's not normal per se. Like you don't supposed to play a DVD over and over and over and over again. And to me, I think what's wrong with that? If they want to play that DVD over and over, why not? But
I got a question.
I think
I
so
got a
too.
question. Whoa. I got a question for you.
yes.
And I know Nikki Paige knows this as well. It's always somebody from outside that tries to tell you how to do what you do, right? Or critique what it is that you do. So I'm gonna ask this question to Mom first, and I want Miss Paige to pick this up. When was the time that somebody tried to instruct you on how to do what you do, and you had to check them because you know your son or you know your talent?
Well, it's been a bunch of times. Darius used to eat peanut butter and jelly, right? He only wanted it to be cut in fours. So you'll make it, the peanut butter and jelly, you put it together, and he wanted it in fours. So I'm out with him at someone's home, and they, you know, said they would make him a peanut butter and jelly. And I said to them, when you make it, cut it in fours. And they was like, that's ridiculous. If a child is hungry, they would eat it no matter how it's cut. And I was like, please cut it in fours because he's not going to eat it. And she was like, no, because that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, well, go ahead, cut it how you want to cut it. So she cut it into triangles. Did he eat it? No, we took it to go. And I tried to tell her that he wasn't going to eat it, but she tried to tell me it doesn't matter because if he was hungry enough, he will eat it. I don't care if he didn't eat all week. He needed it into fours. For some reason, that's how his brain processed it, that it needed to be in fours. And people don't listen to me. And it's like, please cut it in four. And just like my husband had to learn that too. I'm like, you know, when you go buy his popcorn, do not buy this other brand because he's not going to eat it. It's just popcorn, my husband says. So he goes out and buy it. Did Darius eat it? He dumped it over the balcony. And it's just like, I don't want this. And I told him, and you know, I had to struggle with my husband a lot with this because my husband thought I was the one being the picky one. I'm like, Trez, when you go, I won't say his name online. He's like, Trez, when you go buy those waffles, buy this type. He was like, waffles are waffles. Waffles are not waffles. And even with myself, I'm funny about cheese. I gotta have certain cheese. And you know, people like cheese and cheese. Cheese are not, all cheese are not created equal. And you try to tell people that, but yeah, so you know, a lot of people that I'm around, they let me do me, but you know, they talk about me behind my back. Like, you know, like, well, she treats him like a baby. And maybe I did treat him like a baby, and maybe I do treat him like a baby in some cases, but he's my kid, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm not an expert. I'm
Yes, you are.
learning.
You're expert with your son.
Yeah, and I don't, something I have to do. Oh, she cuts up his food, and he has to have it cut up because he would just stuff all the food down his throat, and then he'll be choking. So I have to do that. And you know, people don't understand that. But I don't care though.
No, you're an expert because that's what you do with your
know,
son.
Yeah, and I'm learning every day, and it's like it's an experience. It's positive. I learn things from him. You know, we sit here and like, oh, sweat, we didn't know that garage can open that way until he did it. Now we got two ways to open the garage. You know.
Okay. So
and he makes us laugh all the time. He's always doing something to make us. He makes us laugh all the time.
Ms. Paige, same thing with you. How do you take it when somebody tries to talk to you about what you do and overstep your creative genius to? how you create and nurture your talent and projects?
I think writing music is just, it's just like, it's all an opinion, it's all perspective, you know? So when somebody says it has to go this way or has to go that way, I'm like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't have to go any way. It can go whatever I'm feeling because it's my song and I'm the one putting it out, you know? I mean, but I do want to collaborate. So sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's easier just to go in and pay somebody and have them play the parts or whatever, you know? It's frustrating, and sometimes I just want to produce the songs myself, you know? But I focus most of my time on learning how to sing. So when somebody tells me how to use my voice, I'm like, I like to take suggestions, you know, because that's how you learn. But it's not always, sometimes people will fight because of what they know in their head, and they don't give me the chance to get what I'm feeling out. So I'm like, can we just try this? Let's just try it. And that's, you know, that's a compromise. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, let's go your way. And that's, you know, that's the music industry, though. You're going to run into that anyway.
Yeah, you're going to tell all our people to mind your damn business as well.
Mind your business.
Now, Miss Paige, let's pick up with you again, because Nina Simone said, the duty of an artist is to make music that reflects the times in which they're living in. And like you said earlier, a lot of artists are not making heartfelt music. They're making things that's catchy. You know, I want to, well, how do you see the world? How do you think your music fits into it?
I'm just an artist, you know what I mean? I have a vessel to just take whatever I'm pulling. You know, Michael Jackson studies, like, it's all right there, you know what I mean? We're just pulling out like these ideas and melodies and rhythms and stuff that they just pop in our head. I mean, we do have different experiences and stuff that we go through, that the world puts us through. And it's all of us. We all do this together. We're a unit, you know what I mean? So basically, I try my best to take as many of those obstacles on, whether it be a heartbreak or whatever, you know, just trying to make light of it. It is easy to fall into the dark side of that, though, you know what I mean? Like, next thing you know, you're supporting this one cause, and then there's these other people who are mad at it. So you can't really pick a side or choose a side. You really have to do your best to be as relatable as possible while still making a difference. So this right here seemed like a fun thing that a lot of people would support, and it makes it a lot easier to just feel with my heart and not have to think so much about it, what people will think about it, you know.
You are more than an artist, though. Now, I'm gonna let you be humble, but I'm gonna pat you on your back right now, okay? You are more than an artist, because you're making a song that's gonna open the hearts of parents who are going through this journey with their children, and you're telling them that they matter. You're also telling the children that it's okay that you're going through this, that you're not weird or different. It's okay to be different, but you matter. And see, most times in our society, a lot of people don't know that they matter because they're taught that you don't, or you're different, or something's wrong with you by the color of your skin, the color of your hair, what you wear, what you eat, how you look, how you think. You know what I'm saying? And with you making a statement song, not only are you working on the hearts of people, you're working on the souls of people, you're working on the minds of people. You are a psychologist, doctor, nutritionist. you have a whole lot of titles. So no,
Yeah,
you're not just an artist. Yeah, you're not just an artist. You're saving lives. And that's why I salute you even more, because it's deeper than just the song. It's deeper than just singing a melody to capture the essence of a feeling. If the power of life and death are within the tongue, you've already noticed that what you say not only can change lives, but you could save a life as well.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most important song that you heard that saved your life and made you a better singer?
Probably "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston.
That's a good one. Classic. Why?
Every time that song comes on, it just reminds me of my family. It's one of the first songs that I ever recorded, and my mom really would get behind me and make me sing that with my best efforts. You know what I mean? Like, you can do that. You could do that. And so I did, and I recorded it. And every time I hear it now, I think of just, you know, love. Sometimes I think of it as like my passion to, which is, as cheesy as it sounds, like my passion to music, my passion to just whatever I'm feeling at that moment. And it just, I don't know, it's a really powerful song.
So I take you as a rangy singer though. You have an interesting range because your delivery is very heartfelt. You don't sing to sound good. You sing to set the arena so people are experiencing your music.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I worked on my range. I wasn't the type of person that started singing super high. In fact, I did the national anthem once and I cracked. I started it way too high and it cracked and it was all over the national television. And then, you know, it was really embarrassing. So after that, I was really afraid of hitting any high notes. I'd always sing them in my head voice. And finally, I started performing in like a rock band and really started pushing it because the band was louder than me. And so I had to get louder than them in order for my audience that all showed up to hear me, for them to hear me. So it started forcing me to sing a little bit more passionate, a little bit louder, a little bit harder, a little stronger. Because I realized if you don't start doing that, if you're like have this great idea and you're a songwriter in the room, but you're being too quiet, no one's going to hear your idea. No one's going to hear you. So I, you know, and I love doing it and I know that I can. So I wanted them to hear me. So I started getting louder and I started getting higher and I started getting, you know, expanding my range and just having that confidence. And now I sing pretty high and sing pretty passionate and very loud sometimes, you know.
And clear.
Clear.
Yes. Come on, listen to Ring, Ring. That's clear.
Oh yeah, I like that song. That's my song. That's my jam.
Ring is clear. You're not just singing to sing.
That's a Grammy song right there.
The Grammy. We're gonna put you out there.
So, like, did you listen to it? That's a Grammy song. That's like that's a Grammy song.
Yeah, I did some research before you came on to the call. I wanted to be, you know.
Yeah, but that song right there is a Grammy song. I don't know why you don't got a Grammy for that song, but that song is a Grammy song.
Hey, Miss Paige, you got a publicist right here who's really got you out there.
That's a Grammy song. Like certain songs are Grammy material. That's a Grammy, American Music Awards song, His Choice, all that. One
Yeah.
that song is song. That's the song.
No, you're silly. I have so many songs. I have like over 10,000 songs in my catalog.
But she got 10,000 songs.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I just don't, I never really put anything out. I really like performing them or I'll sell the songs, whatever, so I can continue to make more music. And now I'm starting to release things and I'm excited too. Ring Ring actually charted on Billboard Dance and it did pretty well. So I'm like, you know what, if that song could go that far, then I think I can make other songs go further.
So you're trying to say my song that I like, you got better ones?
No, I love this song. I wouldn't, if I didn't have a actual connection with the project, and I didn't think that I delivered something that was one of my best materials, I don't think I would have pitched it to you. You know what I mean? I would have had to turn it down because I don't want to let what you're trying to do down. So I really do love this record, Our Own Way. I've played it for a bunch of my friends and my family, and everybody agrees that it's one of my better, you know, little art pieces. So I'm running with you. You know what I mean? I definitely feel it. So I have other songs.
Yeah, you do, because I heard the one with Daz Dillinger and well, you did the hook. I like that one too. You have a very unique voice, and I love your accent. Like you don't have the I'm just talking to blah. You know, you take what you do for granted because you're so used to it. But remember this: what's your favorite food?
Chicken nuggets.
Ain't nothing like chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A with the Chick-fil-A sauce. It's a whole different taste than Chick-fil-A, than nuggets from Wendy's.
Sauce, that's
you know
butter, baby.
Exactly. And Nikki Paige has some sauce on her.
You got that
Let's
awesome
give her
sauce.
respect. Let's go.
That awesome sauce, Nikki. You got that awesome sauce.
So let's talk about that sauce, because life has a way to making your fears become your reality. Mom, let's be real. You are the mother, and you talked about this earlier, But I really want to hammer this home to how important this song is, and even how some of the things Nikki Paige has made that really talks to the essence of fear and overcoming fear. As a mom to what was designated as a young black male, one day your young man is going to go out into the world and he may face a situation that's going to be hard to get out of. And we see the fears of society and how they treat our young men, our elder men, you know, whether it's police brutality, prejudice, racism, hatred, jealousy. And there's only but so much you can do to protect your child. What is your fear of as your son gets older and he has to go out into the world and fend for himself?
My fear is communication, of course, because for the most part, he's not verbal. And when he's not able to communicate, he becomes aggressive. And I'm afraid that when he's trying to communicate his needs and wants, he's going to do something to someone. And it's not that he's going to do it intentionally, but that's the way he has to come across, aggressive. And that's what I'm afraid of, that he's going to, be aggressive and hurt someone when he's trying to communicate. And if they not listening to him, he might push them, grab them. And, that's what I'm afraid of.
I understand. I understand, because like I said, with autism, verbal communication is one of the things that we try to teach them early on from the preschool level, to try to groom them into be able to say, I need, I feel, I want. And sometimes, even as time passes, it's still hard, because to the normal world, you could just say things, but even these normal people can't express themselves, and that's how people get angry, and many crimes are committed.
Get angry, yes, and even if there's something bothering him and you don't understand, he's having a meltdown or a tantrum, and people see it as bad behavior, but it's not, because if they aren't able to process something's bothering them, and he's not able to communicate it, he start, getting aggressive, or he drops to the ground and he's crying and rolling and kicking, and and that's a problem. And that's why we do try to focus on him being able to communicate his wants and needs. Keep him, I want this, I want that. But sometimes you don't have control over the stimuli that's outside, in the universe, in the world. I can't control the world.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest. I can't control the world. That's why I'm trying to teach the world, spread awareness, because the world need to open their eyes and see this. I need to teach the world. We are busy teaching our children, our autistic kids, how to conform to society, but we let society be, and they aren't aware of what's going on. And we got to send our kids out there to a world that aren't, a world that's not aware of their needs and their wants, and a world that don't understand them or accept. We just changing them, but we need to start changing the world too.
Well, that's why Miss Paige's songs are so moving, because let's talk about that. I mean, because music has been the one thing that unifies people, even in their hatred. I say there's only 3 things people will buy for the rest of their lives. That's food, entertainment, and caskets. Everybody want to have fun. Everybody going to eat, and everybody going to die. Period.
Yep.
But when you can take the entertaining part of it and sneak a lesson in there, that makes you more powerful, because now you can walk away with something. I mean, like I said, Dr. Paige, I'm calling you right now.
Dr.
Paige. Look, think about this. When you were little, you didn't learn from a book. You learned from music. That's how we sing the ABC song, or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Or if you have a boyfriend or a husband, football's on. You know what I'm saying? Music has always been the catalyst of our understanding. And the song Colorblind and the visual for Colorblind has to be one of the strongest visuals that came out within the last 2 years of music. You were singing in front of a camera, black and white. Black and white is bare truth. Black and white, you know what I'm saying? You got some grays in there, that's that gray area. But if you really understand black and white is simplicity. It's to the point. There's nothing to make you veer off from the main lesson. And in this video, you're dancing with the crucifix in your hand, and you manipulate it like you're struggling with beliefs and struggling with the world that you're showing behind yourself, which was a lot of the riots, the Black Lives Matter, George Floyd. You were really singing to a world in black and white, colorblind, funny, right? You were singing to a world and putting it out there that there's something wrong and we need to acknowledge what it is. Why do you think we need the music as much as we do to make these changes, and we need the music to be heard instead of, and especially when people don't want to just sit down and listen to us?
Well, music is loud, you know, music is powerful. It moves you, it makes you cry, it makes you happy, it makes you dance. It really has a connection with the inner child, you know, of like what really strikes the nerve with you. And I don't know, I can't explain that again. I think that's because it was made to worship God, and it does something with frequencies that really get our emotions with dynamics and how like loud and how quiet things are. You know, it's just a play in dynamics and frequencies alone. It's almost scientifical, but it's also very spiritual. So, you know, I want to make a difference in the world. I have a microphone and I know how to do it I know how to run the microphone. I know how to sing, and I know how to make music. And I feel like other people should do that if it's going to make the world a better place. I think that you should definitely pick up a guitar when you're stressed, or an instrument that you like feel like you would put in your, you know, some time and effort to learn and study, because you really start to, like, it's almost like meditation. You figure out a lot about yourself. And you know, it's just like something I can tell you right now, I highly recommend, and a lot of people will still not go do it, but it's something that you know you should.
Yeah, you need music. You need music. I play the flute, and I grew up in a house with musicians. I have a brother who plays 7 instruments. We had a band. And music really helped us. We were poor, and we all got together and got our instruments out, and we were happy. You know?
Yeah, but it also makes, when you do it, it makes you confident. It really builds. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to be like overly confident with it, but it does help you, like, really, it's like feel like your own personal power of like, I'm not afraid of what you think this sounds like, because I feel it, and when it comes out, that's what it sounds like inside of me. So, you know what I mean? Like I said earlier, it's like perspective and opinions. There's no real wrong. It's just a matter of what people are kind of accustomed to hearing as what's correct and what's not. So you got to make music with your foot in the door of what people are used to, and then what is off a little bit enough to be unique, that maybe stops traffic and makes people, you know, what is that? You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
I had a music teacher when I was learning how to play the flute. You know, when you learn how to play an instrument in school, they make you learn the songs in the book.
Yes.
So you got to go, yeah, and you have to learn the song. But he made us write our own songs with the notes and everything. And you had to come in on Friday, and he tested you, like, it was a test. So all week you trying to come up with write a song, and he made us do that. He was like, the book, you know, you can play these songs in the book, but I want you to compose your own song. I want you to write your own music. And we had to do that. And I felt good, like I was creating. You know, I was putting something in the world that was mine and sharing it. And I'm glad he did that. And I remember him, he was about 80 then, you know, so he's not here.
God bless his real soul.
I remember him like forever, like he is forever a part of me.
Okay.
Mr. Rabaska. And he's part of me forever.
Yeah.
Like yes, when I pull out my flute and start tapping my fingers and my foot, think of him. He's here with me forever.
Facts. So let's go into the heart of the conversation. Nikki, why don't you tell everybody the name of the song and about when's it being rolled out and what's the plans with it?
So the song is called Our Own Way. Talks about basically everybody's beautiful in their own way, you know. No matter how different you feel, like you're different and you're beautiful. That's like the heart of the song. So take a listen to it and tell me what you think. We put a lot of effort into this, a lot of heart and soul, a lot of time. So, but it's definitely heartfelt. It's our heart here that we want to share. Rollout plan. Well, we're trying to get it all put together for Autism Awareness Month, which is April. And I know that there's a magazine that Nikki is helping us put together and a couple of different organizations that we're talking to trying to get it out there sooner than later. I will be releasing a release date soon. We're just waiting for a couple articles so that we can drop it in the magazine. And I was hoping to get those to come out around the same exact time. So around like April 15th, you'll be hearing this record.
Okay. I'm happy to know that, because Heritage Hip Hop takes everything with education, children, music serious. And when it officially drops and you drop the video, we want to carry it on our website. I'm gonna write a blog up about this interview and post the interview as well. And I think it's very important that we give something like this the time it needs, because unfortunately we have every song in the world about sex. We have every song in the world about murder or drug use, misogyny or something. And we don't really have enough songs in the mainstream, because I know there are people making them, but we don't have enough songs in the mainstream that celebrate our differences and even brings, awareness to people who have differences, to tell others that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I applaud you for this, because we need more good news than breaking world news.
I thought about releasing it sooner, kind of like I did with Colorblind. Like I just put it on YouTube, you know, but I did that with the music video. So because there's so much going on in my life and stuff, and Nikki's life, we're doing this as fast as we can to get this to be pulled together. But I do want to put like a video for it. So I might just release the record April 2nd and then release the video a couple weeks later. But I'll keep you posted on that. And I'll definitely, it'll be on my Instagram, which is Nikki Paige, N-A-Rage, Nikkipaige, N-A-Rage. So the letters N-A-Rage. And I'll be releasing teasers and stuff like that, so you guys can check it out and be updated on when the release day is.
Mom, let me ask you a question. You're muted.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Let me ask you a question. When the song is released, how are you going to use this song to not only share with parents who may have children with autism, but how are you going to share this song with your son and people who are around your circle as well?
Well, once the song is out and, you know, I have the lyrics already, you know, his class, his former teachers, we are going to get together. We're going to teach the kids the song. We are just going to make Zoom videos of it. We're going to just have, we're going to celebrate. Everyone is just going to be running around my town singing this song. That's my plan.
Good.
You're teaching all the kids, teaching all the lower classes, everyone's going to learn this song. That's my plan.
Autism is not something that makes us hindered. It's something that shows us how much we really care for each other and our inner beings, you know? Because when we interact with people with autism, sometimes we teach us things about ourselves we never knew. So for everybody out there watching this, we did not do this interview or this roundtable discussion to talk down on people who have the autism issue, and we're not in pity for anybody who's a parent of it. We're here to celebrate it. Because if you don't know that people have your back, and if you don't know that people there's other people in the world who may go through this similar thing like you. If you don't know those things, you feel alone and you feel like you have no other voices. And we have a mother on the line who not only is sharing her voice with us, you probably have connected with somebody when this is seen that really did not know how to express the frustration or even express the fact that they've overcame a lot of the frustration to celebrate their child too. So this interview is not about the differences. It's also to say thank you for being a mom and not quitting on yourself or your child. So I thank you for
Can't
that
stop.
from the bottom
I
of
can't
my heart.
stop.
Are there any organizations or foundations that you're working with to help further the song and the outreach?
I was actually partnering up with Timothy Bloom. We have a couple of different ideas. I have a couple of different people that are really well connected with Music Cares. Nikki knows Music for Autism. We're having conversations with them. Also, the vice president of Billboard is a good friend of one of my managers, and she has a personal connection to the topic as well. So we are basically calling all forces and trying to see how and who is going to be involved and how we can get this message going for not just throughout the month of Autism Awareness Month, but throughout the year and hopefully longer. So let's see what we could do. And I really appreciate you and your time, and Nikki, yours as well.
Thank you. And autism is every day. And, they give us 1 month, but we have to spread awareness every day because it's 365 days.
Right.
It's every day. This is our autism life, our journey. We on this train.
And everybody out there that's listening, there are organizations that work with people.
There's a lot of organizations out there, support. You don't have to do this alone. And, in some states, it's harder because they don't have the resources. But, and go to social media, #autism. That's what I did in 2009. I was on Twitter. I #autism. I have a community of people that I talk to. I talked to Holly Pete Robinson. Her son has Jody Gomes and Dawn Newfield. They all these different celebrities out there. They have kids with autism. I connected with them. And Faith Evans, she has a son. I'm putting these people out there, but you can Google them. They have all these kids with autism, and they trying to spread awareness. I connected with all these people. It's a large community out there. You don't have to do it alone.
Holly Robinson, Pete, Faith Evans, and more.
Faith Evans,
okay.
Tony Braxton.
Okay. Well, so for everybody out there listening, Autism Speaks is a foundation, National Autistic Society, Autism Society of America, the Organization of Autism Research. Yeah, I'm reading it because I wanted to do my research. Autistic Self-Advocacy, Network, Autism Science Foundation, and many more. And with that being said, though, the point of the matter is we all have differences in our world and in our life. You know what I'm saying? Some people like this, some people like that. I got a child in my class I had a child in my class who didn't know their colors, right? Funny story, real quick. And to teach them their colors, I would put food coloring in their milk. You know what I'm saying? And it went from white milk, blue milk, pink milk, green milk to a parent coming in and said, "What did you do to my child?" And I said, "I ain't do nothing to your child. What do you mean?" I said, "My child won't eat cereal unless it's blue milk, and that's their favorite color." So they learned their colors, and that difference connected me with that child forever, and that parent too, because their child, because someone, me, you, or anybody else who takes the time to get to know children or get to know people, no matter what their differences are, you give them a form of love and respect that many people take for granted. Saying hello to somebody can change somebody's life, and just giving somebody attention can change somebody's life as well.
And I teach, and I teach at the university, and I think that by having a kid with autism, it made me a better professor.
How so?
Because you know what it is when I'm teaching, math is hard for people. And it's a stigma, and I try to erase it. You got to erase it. I try to erase it, but when I teach and students don't understand it, I go back home and try to come up with a different way because we learn differently. And if I'm looking like they aren't getting it, I need to come back with a different plan because this way wasn't working. They don't understand it. So I have to figure it out to reach them. And so that's why I started rapping in the classroom.
What?
So I rap.
Oh, really?
And people say you need to rap in the classroom to get kids to learn algebra. If that's what I have to do,
yes,
I
what
have
you got to do
it.
Exactly.
And they love coming to class. And it's not even about that. It's like they connect with me. And if they're having problems, because life happens no matter what. When they leave that classroom, life happens. Professors expect them to come back and sit there and listen to a lecture, but then they might have problems at home. Mm-hmm. So they connected with me and they can come talk to me. And I'm not if they need help, I will walk them right to that counseling center. I will hold their hand and walk them. Like, you could come to me. You could come to me years later because life happens outside of that classroom. Yes, and if you don't connect with the students somehow, you never know. And I'm gonna say this because I know we have to go. Are you ready to go? There was a student that committed suicide at Rutgers some years ago, and she took her car and she ran into a train, like on the tracks. But they said that when she was in class, they can tell something. The students knew something was going on, but the professor wasn't paying attention because professors don't do that. We just teach, right? We're supposed to just go in there and throw stuff on the board, especially at the higher ed. That's not our job. But I feel as though that we are people. We all in this together. So, if that was my student, I probably would have recognized that something was different about her. Because I had students that I noticed, like, you're not happy today. What's going on? And, they're like, well, this is going on. And then they thank me, like, thank you for noticing that I wasn't happy today. And that's not my job, but I do it. And a lot of my colleagues tell me, you're too nice. You shouldn't interact with the students. And then, but I do. Because I have a son with autism and he's going through stuff. And I want someone out there to notice that something isn't right and care.
Hey, there's nothing I could say after that. So, Mom, if you would like, please, for the people that's slow, give them your social media very slowly so they can get in contact with you and talk to you.
My Autism Star, MY Autism, AUTISM Star, STAR. My Autism Star, because he's a star. He's my star.
And that's on Instagram?
Yes, Instagram and Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nikki Paige, for the people who want to hear more music or who are looking forward to the song, slowly, can you give them your Instagram and any social media handles that you have?
So it's on Instagram at Nikki Paige. Nikki Paige has 2 I's, so it's NIKKI PAIGE, Nikki Paige, and then the letter N A Rage, Nikki Paige in a Rage. That's Instagram. And then Twitter is Nikki Paige in a Rage with an I in the word in a rage. And then on YouTube, just type in Nikki Paige. You'll find me there. Pretty easy.
Yes, you will, because she is there. No doubt. So for everybody out there that's watching the Mike Council tonight or wherever you see it, we thank you for your time. And just remember that the Bible says that a good name lasts longer than a good smell. So by doing good deeds, not only will your name live long, your influence will live long. It also says love lives longer than the grave. So that by giving people love and showing love, you live forever in their actions, and actions do speak louder than words. So I would like to thank Mom for her actions and showing her son and the world love through your actions. Like I said, I celebrate mothers. That's the one. I don't know what it is. But I mean, maybe because my mom passed away, I guess. I don't know. But for all mothers, I have a higher level of appreciation.
Mothers make things happen.
Yeah, we ain't crapping on daddies though. But I will say,
mothers make things. Daddies, they make things happen too. But moms,
they no buts. Say that for another show. but for moms, and like I said, the fact that you carry the seed and you have a different way of nurturing the baby, like I said, I salute all mothers who really do their thing and take
Thank
care
you,
of their
and to all the moms out there.
Yeah, for real. Salute to
We
all
are
of you.
mom strong.
And to all the singers and creatives out there who use their talent to better life and to who dedicate their skills to life itself. Like Miss Paige, I want to salute you as well, because without your voice, a lot of melodies and a lot of hearts will not connect. Once again, you are a doctor, so don't take yourself lightly. I thank you for your talent.
Dr. Paige.
Right.
Paige and Dr. Paige.
So with that being said, this is Karel from Heritage Hip Hop with an amazing mom and an amazing singer. And tonight we say peace and we out.
Guys, take care, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for watching our presentation. We ask that you subscribe to our YouTube family and hit the notification bell for updates. Please like, comment, and share this video.
Real hip hop. Real